Mr. Miller here in Golden Isles, that's where I'm at right now.
Yes, Miss
I'm
Ellie.
going to tell you the area, check the area, Shanique, because then these are the areas where the main set of people are going to suffer.
Yes.
Miss Ellie, thank you so much. Miss Ellie, I do appreciate you, first of all, holding on all this time and calling in. Keyshawn says, I have to go. I can't have anybody say anything else. Not even the two gentlemen. Not even the two gentlemen. You all got to come back to say something else.
I can't say hi to my mom in Lutheran.
Say hi, quick.
Miss Mary Miller, Greencastle. Love your mom. Your sons are going to be fine.
Hi.
God's got us.
Hello to you all there in South Eleuthera watching. Big hello, of course, to everywhere around the country. Reese, thank you so much, Fawn. Thank you very much. And thank all of you. Stay exactly where you are. The news at 6 is straight ahead. Savage.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up first at 6, 4 sitting members of Parliament voting no to value-added tax during the 2018-2019 budget communication could have been fired from their posts. We've got the latest tonight. The Deputy Prime Minister responding to criticism that the budget had absolutely nothing in it for the nation's second city. And the Bahamas Unified Bus Drivers Union aims to implement a unified busing system.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, first at 6. This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC every day.
The Cabinet Office confirming that Travis Robinson and Vaughn Miller are no longer parliamentary secretaries in the Ministries of Tourism and Social Services and Urban Development as their positions were revoked today. Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, first at 6. The statement also confirmed that Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge, Frederick McAlpine's appointment as chairman of the Hotel Corporation of the Bahamas Board was also revoked. The Cabinet Office in the statement indicated that under the provisions of the Manual of Cabinet and Ministry Procedure Part 2, Section 3, Item 21, parliamentary secretaries, like cabinet ministers, are bound as a condition of their continuance in office to support government decisions in public. This action comes just hours after the above-mentioned members of Parliament voted against the government's intention to increase value-added tax to 12% starting July 1st. This afternoon, Golden Isles MP Vaughn Miller appeared on the ZNS talk show The Conversation with host Shanique Miller. Mr. Miller was asked why he did not toe the party line in voting with his government on the VAT hike bill. He responded this way.
This was unpopular from the onset. And that's throughout the country. And Golden Isles was no exception. Okay, it reflected what the rest of the country felt. If I was a part of the process, I think that my advice would have been, instead of trying to sell it on the back end, sell it on the front end. Go to the people, take it to the people, engage the people, make them a part of the process. We promised transparency, and I think that would have been very transparent. I don't know why it was
Kept
as such a secret. And so that's the issue that I had with it. But I never went public with that. I felt that way personally, but I never went public and talked about it. But I'm saying this in hindsight, in retrospect, and I've always felt that way. I always think it's best to let persons know up front.
Meanwhile, Brian Brown of the Golden Isles Constituency Association was contacted by ZNS News to get their feedback on the no vote by area member of Parliament Vaughn Miller against the VAT increase. Mr. Brown said the association's executive met with Mr. Miller and stands in solidarity with the government's proposal to increase VAT to 12%, noting that has to go forward with the hike because, in his words, the country is in a mess. Mr. Brown added that Mr. Miller was asked to meet with the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Peter Turnquest, along with the Golden Isles executives to discuss the budget. Mr. Brown claims Vaughn Miller did not follow the executive's instructions as that meeting never happened. Mr. Brown told ZNS News that many voice notes sent by area residents supporting the government stance were sent to Mr. Miller, and that the Golden Isles Constituency Association does not support the no vote by Mr. Miller in Parliament last night. Mr. Brown concluded that the executives will meet with Mr. Miller in short order. Now, last evening, those parliamentarians expressed themselves following the VAT vote in Parliament. DeAndre Williamson was at the House of Assembly.
Member of Parliament for Golden Isles, Von Miller, and 3 other Free National Movement members of Parliament kept their word and voted against the government's 12% value-added tax increase as the budget was passed in the House of Assembly.
If the PM had come into the House and said that, look, he struck up a compromise at 10%, I would have settled for 10%, although I would have liked to see it in increments.
We support the government's efforts, but we were unable to support an increase in the cost of living in our constituency.
The Member of Parliament for Bain and Grantstown, Travis Robinson, also opposed the Value-Added Tax Amendment Act 2018. He, along with opposition leader Philip Davis and 2 other opposition members, voted no to the bill because they believe it will be a burden to middle-class Bahamians and small businesses.
I fear that this VAT increase of 60% will send us into a deep recession.
Minister of Finance, Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest says while the MPs voting against the bill followed their convictions, the country is moving to get its finances on the right track.
This is a budget that calls for shared sacrifice, and we know that there are a lot of Bahamians who will find that this is a sacrifice that for them is significant. We appreciate that and we understand. However, we also recognize that we have to get our fiscal house in order.
For ZNS Network News, I'm DeAndre Williamson.
After several government MPs went contrary to government during the vote on the 2018-2019 budget, several cabinet ministers reflected on their futures after such a bold move. Cleopatra Murphy has their take just before a cabinet meeting this morning.
Unfortunately, that's above my pay grade. That's a decision the Prime Minister will make.
Deputy Prime Minister the Honourable Peter Turnquest says the fate of 4 government MPs now lies in the hands of Prime Minister Dr. the Honourable Hubert Minnis after they voted against the Value-Added Tax Amendment Bill during Monday night's vote on the much-debated 2018-2019 budget. Golden Isles MP and Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development Von Miller, Bain and Grantstown MP, and Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism Travis Robinson, Pine Ridge MP Frederick McElpine, Chairman of the Hotel Corporation, and Centerville MP Reese Chipman joined 3 opposition members in voting against a VAT increase to 12% while voting to support the budget. Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources Renward Wells also weighed in.
I think the Prime Minister has spoken to what it is he'd like to see take place in regards to the parliamentary secretaries, and I'll leave that there.
Attorney General Senator the Honourable Carl Bethel, speaking in the Senate last week, warned elected officials who hold government posts if they could not support the entire budget, they should resign their positions. From his standpoint, Wells says backbenchers are free to express themselves as they choose, but regarding Miller and Robinson, he says while the Bahamas follows the Westminster system, it is not followed as it should be.
Sometimes it is we do the right thing. If a minister or parliamentary secretary was to disagree with the position of a government and it was of such a state to where you decide to vote against the government, then traditionally you don't even take your seat. You simply just walk around to the backbench and sit down. That's the way it happens. But in this regard, I guess they've left their fate up to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister will decide.
Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
FNM Chairman Carl Culmer says the budget puts the country on the path to financial stability and economic success. He says these bold actions are being taken to correct the blatant and corrupt mismanagement that took place under the previous PLP government. The FNM chairman says the new budget cuts taxes by eliminating VAT on all breadbasket items and medicine, ensuring that each and every person in the Bahamas is able to purchase the necessary items for themselves and their families. This new budget enables the government to move forward with its plan to transform the inner cities by providing funding for the Over the Hill project. We will create economic empowerment zones that will boost the economy in targeting neighborhoods so every Bahamian will have the opportunity to succeed. This newly passed budget will ease the cost of doing business in the Bahamas, creating more opportunities for our people to start and grow businesses while also providing opportunities for more Bahamians to own their own land. And still to come, postal workers protesting for a second day. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, first at 6, your news leader.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evo.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evo.
Are your monthly bills coming in on top of your holiday bills? It's time for a change. Bundle your bills into one low-rate loan with Commonwealth Bank. Move your high-rate loans and credit card balances from other banks to a low-rate consolidation loan at Commonwealth Bank. Less stress, less to pay, each and every month. Plus, the chance to win $5,000. So make a change. Get a consolidation loan at Commonwealth Bank and pay less.
Here comes the lucky guy who won a date with Fanshawn to his prom.
KFC got the big deal meal, freshly handmade every day for real.
Made fresh every day?
What I said, what you take? KFC got the big deal meal. Hey, it's a real big deal. KFC got the big deal meal. Hey, it's a
now that's a big deal.
Hey, it's a real big deal. Hey, it's a real big deal.
This portion of the news brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking.
Employees at the East Hill Street Post Office sitting out again Tuesday as they wait for their ongoing concerns to be addressed. The issues includes a non-functioning air conditioning system and mold in the aging building. President of the Bahamas Public Services Union, Kimsley Ferguson, gave this update.
We're not advising any of the workers to go in that building until such time as they would bring somebody to do the mold remediation and ensure that the air quality is sufficient and adequate enough for persons to occupy. We would have called the permanent secretary this morning, Mrs. Ambrissa at Transport, who would have advised us that Caterpillar is coming to maintain and service the generator, and she said today that the purchase order is being prepared to get the breaker panel sorted out.
Ferguson expressed concern that mail containers and other garbage piled to the rear of the post office are also a hazard.
There's an exit behind the mail containers, which is a fire exit, and so that's obstructed. And so if some emergency were to take place here at the post office, you would find persons would probably trample one another trying to get out. The Bahamian people are paying for these to be here. It was agreed that they would be stored in the various containers and they would be transported back to the United States. And so we're very concerned that the things that were agreed to has not yet even been done.
The newly formed Bahamas Unified Bus Drivers Union plans to move the sector towards a unified busing system. The union's formation is also historic, marking the first for the sector as it represents more than 200 drivers. President Frederick Farrington says the goal to improve and modernize the experience for both passengers and the driver. Clearly marked bus stops and cashless operations are among issues to be discussed when the union meets with the road traffic controller sometime next week.
If someone would have come in the bus, you would have scanned a card. It's a 3-card system whereby it'll be a yellow card for the $1.25. You'll have like a green card for the person that pays $1, and you'll have like a pink card for the elderlies. And as we scan them, they'll log inside the system. At the end of each day, the driver will know how much money he will then make. It'll also make it easier for deductions from national insurance and all those various deductions.
The government has been working toward a unified busing system for more than 20 years. Now, Farrington maintains that the biggest issue for the union is the negative perception of bus drivers, and through various initiatives, they're hoping to fix that.
We're having seminars whereby drivers from various routes, let's say you're on Route 1, you're going to be the first one to come in those seminars. So in terms of, we're unifying ourselves first. We're looking at that customer-friendly driver. So, like I say, we are a new union. We have a lot of these positive measures in our books, and we want to start within ourselves to better the system.
The Bahamas National Trust, in partnership with the Bahamas Telecommunications Company, is preparing to host its first summer vacation this weekend. Organizers say it's designed to be the spin-off of the popular Dollar Vacation event held in November. So this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., patrons will be able to party for a purpose, as the proceeds will be used by the BNT to operate the country's national park system. BNT's Director of Development, Dominique Martin.
The BNT is a nonprofit organization, so donations are our lifeblood, and when people support events like summer vacation, they give funding to support that work. There are 32 national parks that we manage, 2.2 million acres of our country. That's a vast system that takes a lot of funding. So when we have events like summer vacation and we partner with great corporate citizens like BTC, we're really trying to raise money for that work.
Texas philanthropists Carl and Gigi Allen continue their commitment to empowering Bahamian students by ensuring they have access to the latest cutting-edge educational technology. The Allens announced a partnership with the government and the Bahamas Telecommunications Company to donate computer tablets to all 4th, 5th, and 6th graders of the Grand Key All-Age School in Abaco over the next year. The American couple believes the classroom will serve as an innovative atmosphere to serve all students' learning styles while providing devices for students to learn about an education subject with the click of a button. As they enjoy the frequent visits to the Bahamas, the Allens recently purchased Walker's Key in the Abaco chain, where they intend to invest and develop the island. Stay close. Sports with Jonathan Benson is up next. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, first at 6, your news leader.
That portion of the news was brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, the leader in personal banking services.
We'll be with you through new beginnings and sunset endings, through toil and many tears, through the joys and many fears. For all of life's ever-changing moments, trust J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers for all of your insurance needs. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
Food. It is as essential as air is to breathe and water is to drink. Food is life. But where does our food come from? The Bahamas has more than 2,000 farmers, but it's hardly enough to keep up with our growing population. Or is it? We traveled the nation to find out the answers to the questions everyone is asking. Can we feed ourselves?
Rugs, carpet tiles, ceramic tiles, floor mats, even vinyl flooring. Find them all at Wright's Carpet Masters, located on Bernard Road. Let them cater to your home or your office needs, and you can choose from a variety of carpets, floor mats, cashmere, oriental rugs, and area rugs. And if you can't come to us, we will bring the business to you, offering free estimates and deliveries to the family islands. Wright's Carpet Masters will get it right for you. Located on Bernard Road, telephone number 364-1260.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. Team Bahamas still on a high following their win over St. Vincent and the Grenadines yesterday at the FIBA Women's Caribbean Cup in Suriname. After the game, head coach Wade Watson spoke about the difference between yesterday's game and the game they lost the day before against Cuba.
We know for certain that it was jitters, first time jitters for some of the players. Today I made some adjustment with respect to the starting lineup. I tried to implement more speed into the rotation up front. But again, we started off a little bit slow because the score was only 13-9 in the first quarter. But we're going to get it together. Again, this team is a newly constructed team. We have a lot of new players who just started playing at this level, and trying to get them to understand and appreciate the level of competition and being ready and ready to go. Seemed to be a slight challenge for us, but I can tell you as the tournament progresses, I can see them by quarter becoming a little bit more comfortable and more relaxed.
Team Bahamas will be back in competition tomorrow in the crossover semifinals, and they will take on the top team from Group B, which most likely is the Dominican Republic. Shalonda Neely, one of the veterans on the team, representing the country for the third time, but she says come tomorrow, she won't be taking anything for granted.
We want to get as high as we can, and that's what we're pushing for. We're just trying to work on the chemistry, learn how to work with each other, because the talent is there, but once we get that gel going, then everything will be smoother.
From the pro basketball ranks to Barrio Miller and Los Mushis, they find themselves down 0-2 in the Mexican League quarterfinals after losing to Mazatlan last night 96-84. Miller did his best, dropping in 29 points and 15 rebounds. Game 3 is tomorrow, and it's win or go home. From the minor league baseball diamond yesterday, Lucius Fox was 2 for 5 with a run scored in Charlotte's 5-4 win over Lakeland. In the Arizona League, Christian Robinson 3 for 5, 2 runs scored, an RBI and a stolen base. The Diamondbacks shut out the Cubs 7-0. Also in Arizona, Trent DeVoe 2 for 5, stealing his first base of the season, while Deshaun Knowles was 1 for 1 with a run scored. The Angels, they lost to the Athletics 7-6. In the Dominican League, Orveo Saint, he was 1 for 3 in the Brewers 7-3 loss to the Indians. Keith Ron Moss scored a run. The Rangers 4-3 loss to the Rays. Meantime, in the Gold Coast League, Kyle Simmons 0 for 3 with a run scored. The Pirates lost to the Blue Jays 12-4. Now tonight, Chavez Young and Jazrael Chisholm, they play in the Midwest League All-Star Game. Young will suit up for the North, while Chisholm, he'll be in the lineup for the West. Back here at home, 2 games were scheduled for tonight in the Providence Softball Association. However, because of wet field conditions, play there has been postponed. A record 10 teams participating in the Kalik Summer Bowling League. The top male player from competition last night, Alfred Burrows of the Strike Force, a 6-12 3-game set. Raymond Adderley of the Rum Runners down the pins for the second high set of 6-09. Bill Cassell of the E&U Watercoolers had a 2-34 high game and was followed by Derek Burrows with the closest with a 2-25 game. The ladies led by Zania Johnson of the Brooklyn Strikers, a 2-11 game, outstanding 5-91 set. Janice Hoyt of the Advocates, also a 2-11 game, while she toppled the pins for a 5-77 set. After 2 weeks of competition, the Rum Runners, they lead the way with 6,080 pins. And that is your first look at sports. Don't go anywhere. First at 6 is back after the break.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
BTC is giving the gift of rollover data, plus free unlimited WhatsApp calls, texts, pictures, and videos. Choose from our 1-day plan for $349, 7-day plan for $999, or our 15-day plan for only $29.99. We've even thrown in unlimited BTC to BTC calls and texts. Dial *203# to activate your plan today. Share every moment with BTC. Terms and conditions apply.
How passionate are you in what you're doing here?
Very passionate. I've not been good at a lot of things, but cooking is one thing that I put my best foot forward every time I step in the kitchen. I do not accept mediocrity. If it's bad before it goes up to the guests, it's not coming out. I'd rather have a dish come out to the guests late and right than on time and wrong.
Hey, have you heard? ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Whether you're on the move or just kicking back. Miss something on the news? It's there. Want to keep up with a live update? It's there. Or just want to listen to your favorite station? It's there too. Download the app now from the App Store and Google Play Store.
The Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Wind Scale was developed in 1971 by civil engineer Herbert Saffir and meteorologist Robert Simpson, who was the director of the U.S. National Hurricane Center. It was introduced to the public in 1973 and began to be widely used a year later. Inspired by the Richter scale that measures earthquakes, the Saffir-Simpson scale was divided into 5 categories. Originally, the Saffir-Simpson scale also included predicted barometric pressures associated with the various wind speeds, as well as the relative kinds of damage that could be anticipated. However, because those predictions were found to be very inaccurate, just a few years ago, the warning system was changed to include only the wind speeds, which were also adjusted upwards in the higher categories. A Category 1 hurricane has wind speeds between 74 and 95 miles per hour. A Category 2, 96 to 110 miles per hour. A Cat 3, 111 to 129 miles per hour. A Cat 4, 130 to 156 miles per hour. And a Category 5 hurricane will have winds from 157 miles per hour and up. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Agency.
The concern I have is, I go back to a point made earlier, $130 million off of what was projected in the current fiscal period at a time when your economy is growing without an extra burden of value-added tax. I suspect that increasing value-added tax to the extent that they have is going to have a negative effect on that level of growth.
You thought it was the talk of the town, but get ready for more.
More energy, more excitement, exhilarating, compelling, informative, educational talk on The Conversation.
I'm Shanique Miller. Pull up a chair with a cup of tea and join me weekdays at 4 on Radio Bahamas 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, and The Light 810 AM for The Conversation. I'm excited to have you around the table.
In regional news this Tuesday, over the past 2 years, there has been a surge in human trafficking via Guyana, especially from Cuba and Haiti, according to a June 13th sectoral committee on a foreign affairs report chaired by the Member of Parliament, Gail Texera, who analyzed arrival and departure records. In 2017, the number was greater, 44,747 Cubans arrived and only 37,492 departed, roughly 7,000 unaccounted for. Former St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister and current opposition leader Dr. Denzel Douglas was back in court on Friday for the now 2 legal challenges against him remaining a parliamentarian while he holds a diplomatic passport for Dominica. The government initially filed the challenge to Douglas's eligibility to continue as an MP in the National Assembly. Spread love, not hate, is the mantra that rang out during Guyana's first Gay Pride Parade, which took place on June 3rd this year. It was an event that allowed the country's LGBT community the opportunity to step out of the cloak of invisibility and claim their right to be proud of who they are and who they choose to love.
Time now for weather.
In our first look at weather, the tropics remain quiet, and we have a weak high-pressure system which is influencing some very light winds, and that combination of light winds and hot temperatures will fire up a couple of showers and thunderstorms over the next couple of days. Outside of our studios, we're under partly sunny conditions. Temperature 82 degrees, your relative humidity at 73%. The winds are out of the east at 9 miles per hour. Your barometric pressure, 1,015 millibars, is 29.97 inches. And it is steady. That's going to do it for your first look at weather at 6. Stay tuned, more weather is still to come.
Thanks a lot, Basil. And that's a look at news in the Bahamas tonight, first at 6. But don't go anywhere. News from the north is up next.
Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news this evening, Pine Ridge Member of Parliament Frederick McAlpine relieved of his duties today as chairman of the Hotel Corporation. McAlpine says he was summoned to the Prime Minister's office for a meeting and was handed a letter that stated that his post as head of the Hotel Corporation had been revoked. McAlpine wasn't the only person relieved of his duties today. MP for Bain and Grantstown Travis Robinson was also relieved as Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism and Aviation, and MP for Golden Isles Vaughn Miller was also relieved of his post as Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Social Development. These changes coming one day after the 3 government members of Parliament voted against the increase in value-added tax. These 3 government MPs, along with MP for Centreville, Reese Chipman, joined the 3 members of the opposition last night in voting no to the hike in value-added tax. The vote against VAT in the House of Assembly last night was 7 noes, 24 yes, and 7 members were absent. We spoke with Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge a short time ago as he was preparing to return home from the Capitol.
I can only assume because I voted against VAT in terms of 12%. I voted against the government in the VAT voting, and perhaps that is the reason why I've been terminated. But I would say this, if I had to do it again, I would do it again. There is nothing I would change because 12% at this time is too high for the people of Pine Ridge and many people in the Bahamas. If the economy had grown, fine. I could see myself perhaps supporting this. But knowing that there's still so many unemployed people in Grand Bahama and throughout the Bahamas, and so many young people just coming out of school, I don't know what they're going to do. They don't know what they're going to do. Yes, I voted against that at 12%. If it was incrementally implemented, perhaps taking it to 10 and maybe going after that, fine.
More opposition on the upcoming value-added tax hike. The government's plan to increase VAT by 4.5% is generating criticisms from various sectors of society. Tonight, an activist group here in Grand Bahama says they plan to take action.
They are called Determined for Absolute Change, and they say this Friday they are determined to let their voices be heard loud and clear. Chairman Troy Garvey says they are following on the heels of the momentum created in the nation's capital, and he is calling on all Grand Bahamians to show up for a march starting here at the old portion control grounds.
Grand Bahama has a funny set of people, but I think at this point now, the pressure that the people are facing, I believe the people are going to step out in droves because of what's transpired, even with them voting the VAT in, even more now.
Committee member Rashad Adderley also supporting the upcoming march. He says that Grand Bahamians in particular have been suffering for far too long, and he believes that the government should have had more open communication with its citizens before implementing an increase.
Yes, the country may be in a serious debt, like we've been hearing, but you know this from when you got elected. In January, when you spoke about the upcoming budget, you could have even said, okay, we are proposing to increase VAT maybe to 10%. how does the public feel about that?
Now, during the voting process, some 7 members of parliament voted against the increase. Just one of those members was from Grand Bahama. DFAC member Jonathan Glinton says he believes that the members from this island should have had more compassion for the plight of Grand Bahamians.
We still have a lot of people that's displaced from their homes, living all over the place. And it's sad for you to think that it's okay for you to now impose unfair taxes on people and they still don't have the money to really live from day to day and pay the initial 7% that's been levied on us. So we need to take some steps to have these people put some brakes on what they're trying to do.
Now, Garvey admits that he does understand the predicament of the current administration and the fact that the country owes billions of dollars to lenders. However, he says, he believes that another method should have been implemented to collect revenue.
Had I been the leader of the nation, I wouldn't have bring VAT back to increase. I would have bring some sort of income tax so that people could get something back on their money when they pay the tax. And so while we look at value-added tax, that's only to place on services and merchandise and products. But if you had put income tax, that does 2 to 3 different things. 1, it's a taxation to bring revenue into the country. 2, it makes you pay much more attention to your economic status in your home, and your spending becomes very much more disciplined. And 3, at the end of the year, you get the opportunity to go back to file for income tax returns.
Participants are expected to begin assembling at 12 noon, and the peaceful march will make its way to the Harold de Gregory building, which houses the office of the Prime Minister. Now, while there was opposition to the increase in VAT, the budget itself got the full backing of all F&M members and members of the opposition present. The budget passed in the House of Assembly shortly after midnight, setting in motion the country's fiscal agenda, which will now go before the Senate. Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, was among 7 MPs not in Parliament for the vote. Parker Edgecombe was asked today about her absence. She explained that she, along with MPs Dion Saunders, James Aubrey, and Picewell Forbes, are currently in the Cayman Islands attending the 43rd Regional Conference of the Caribbean and the Americas and the Atlantic region of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. Parker Edgecombe noting that she believes in the vision of the government and that this budget will provide a foundation from which the government can build. She says it is not meant to burden the Bahamian people, but she says she is confident that constituents and the Bahamians at large will find innovative ways to lead better lives and take advantage of all the budget has to offer. Now, last week, the Minister of Education, the Honorable Jeffrey Lloyd, made his contribution regarding the future of education in the country. A union executive here in Grand Bahama says that while he was generally pleased with the contribution, he still has some concerns. While making his budget contribution to the House of Assembly, the Minister of Education, the Honorable Jeffrey Lloyd, noted the integral role that technology will play in the advancement of education in the country. Area Vice President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Quinton LaRota, acknowledging that we live in a world where information has great value, and he does have a concern regarding the intellectual property of teachers.
The lessons that are going to be produced by teachers, the knowledge that are coming forward by teachers, who's going to own it? Because I see us heading to a world where, as we're already there, where information has a value that is sold and is traded, right? And who's going to own the intellectual property produced by teachers? And so I'm looking at that and thinking that that's something that teachers should think about. We could be entering an era where lessons are recorded, right, and put into a cloud that's pulled out for students anywhere in the country to look at any time. Will that be a part of the regular compensation? Or because that's a lesson that you produce, will you own that intellectually? Can you copyright that and that be used, or will the ministry own it?
Going forward, he says that the union has to know all it can in order to provide guidance to its members. LaRota adds that salaries and salary increases are of a concern to the union.
The union is preparing, a document is almost completed, our new proposal for negotiations, and that I will leave up to the president of the union to address. Her and her team will have to negotiate with the government
As it relates to Grand Bahama specifically, the relocation of Aidman Rock High School is still a major concern.
Been agitating for a new school down there for some time. It's on the way. My understanding is that it will be a junior school. And so there are two schools of thought in my head. The first thing is the campus now has proven to create some health challenges. And I think all the teachers there are looking forward to some relocation. But if it's just a junior school, then that won't accommodate everyone. Now, I believe you could add a few workshops down there and make it a complete school. But we'll see how that goes. The other consideration is that just in terms of our members' advancement, two schools gives more teachers the opportunity to become administrators, which would improve their salary, their income, give them a better opportunity to take care of their families, provide a greater sense of upward mobility. And I think about all of these things.
Megan Shepard. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Dolly Madison, Freeport's original home center.
It's time to come on down. Now, to the plant nursery at Dolly Madison. They're loaded with indoor and outdoor plants, fruit trees, landscaping plants, flowering plants, herbs, and more at the plant nursery at Dolly Madison. And if you need advice, the friendly, courteous staff at Dolly Madison is there to assist. And don't forget to pick up your soil, fertilizers, and other accessories. Don't wait. Come on down. Now.
Hi, I'm Glenda Sweeting. And I'm Alex Thompson. Join us each week on Grand Bahama's Best Talk Show, Focus Forward, sponsored by the Invest Grand Bahama unit of the Grand Bahama Port Authority.
You'll get to hear from the port executives, find out about the positive projects going on throughout the island. You'll be on top of all the great community events, and of course, we'll have a featured local business each week.
It's going to happen right here on ZNS Television Network. If you want to stay on the pulse, you have to focus forward.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Mo Davis Beauty Zone. Be beautiful, be you. Located at #1 Britannia Mini Mall, Caravel Beach.
More Makeup by Megan Coakley. When you want to look like a star. Phone 443-7979.
I never experienced in my life. I don't words can't describe it. For 55 miles per hour, ripping and tearing. All of my roof and everything, tear it off.
The house was on them still what he has built, it was gone.
As the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season approaches, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas is bringing you all the information you need to be prepared this hurricane season. Tune in to stay informed.
Covering the Northern Bahamas, you're watching The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. An international organization based in Florida traveled to Grand Bahama some time ago to give academic awards to students. However, this year, the group returned to the island with the students of Holmes Rock Primary School in mind. Our Kimberly Mulling says their aim was to serve.
Members of Samaritan's Feet have traveled to Grand Bahama Island before, taking part in their Kingdom Summit events. However, this year, a team of 6 ministers of the gospel, spearheaded by Apostle Terry Ball, says they returned to Grand Bahama this year to carry out their Christian duty in a different way.
God wants the church to become kingdom, to get into the community like this and really impact the lives of everyday people. And that's what we're doing. Samaritan's Feet is an organization that has an objective to use the objective of taking shoes to sow into a kid's life and to bless them through that mechanism of not just the shoes, but also through the washing of their feet, showing humility and serving one another.
Ball says choosing Holmes Rock Primary School wasn't hard to do.
The first time we came, our goal was to do academic awards, and we did academic awards on the first trip. And then we said when we come back, we would do the shoe giveaway for the kids in primary school. So Pastor Eddie, along with myself, we agreed that we would come back and just bless the school with shoes, and that's why we're here. And we're really glad to be here at Holmes Rock and bless the kids with shoes at this time.
All students of the school were called out of their classrooms to have their feet washed and to receive brand new pairs of shoes by the visiting ministers, as well as local members of the clergy who partner with the Kingdom Summit and take part in Samaritan's Feet. Pastor Patterson Williams of Church of Christ Apostolic believes the Samaritan's Feet initiative is a good way to reach out to children.
I think this is a good deed to sow into their lives very early, that the blessing of the Lord will be upon them as they matriculate, from primary to junior and on to high school and on to college.
Part-time administrator Linda Quant says it was nice to have the visiting pastors and local pastors at Holmes Rock Primary School, and she's sure the impression would be a lasting one.
We are happy that they are able to sow into the children's lives and promote that God is real in their lives and give them something tangible for them to take home.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
And now to our Generation Y report. Tonight we'll meet a young lady whose literary skills have put her head and shoulders above the rest. This student of Mary Star of the Sea Academy is top in the nation. Italia Hall has her story.
Kashura Hanna says writing has been her passion from the 4th grade. This is the second time she entered the Laws of Life essay competition, and this time around she walked away with the first place title. The competition, that is hosted by the Templeton Foundation, encourages participants to find meaning, purpose, and truth by using a law of life by the late Sir John Templeton.
There was another law of life I could have chosen, but I went with this one because this one stood out to me a bit more. And I understand that opportunities don't come as easy. So when they do come, you have to embrace them as much as you can.
There were over 2,000 participants across the country this year.
Did I think I would win? Not really, because there were so many entrants this year, but I was pleasantly surprised.
And it's also the first time the overall winner is from one of the family islands.
I was really surprised when I found out I was actually the first person from the other islands that had won. I do think that the outer islands don't get as much recognition as Nassau or New Providence as a whole because everything is located there.
She says competitions like these must continue because they challenge students academically.
I think young people should be as involved as possible in every essay competition, everything that involves some type of academic challenge, because it is very important that we do start to think about certain things and that we get to challenge ourselves and our perspectives.
And she says her writing won't stop here, as she will be entering a number of essay competitions abroad.
And while we're on the topic of life lessons, in this next story you will meet a precious pearl from Water Key. Mother Mabel Lottie Russell recently celebrated her 101st birthday at home in Lewis Yard, surrounded by loved ones. Tonight she gives us the secret to longevity, and we'll give you a clue. It's about commitment to doing God's work. Kimberly Mullings has her story.
I never like politics. I love Christian way.
Mabel Lottie Thomas was born to parents Arthur and Lorena Mae Thomas on Water Key on May 30th, 1917. She celebrated her 100th birthday last year with a party surrounded by loved ones from near and far. However, this year, she dressed up in her beautiful navy blue dress, and everyone came to her house to visit her. Those who couldn't make it called, but she felt the love and enjoyed her cake. Mother Mabel, as she is called by many, shared her secret to long life, which includes honoring her parents.
I always serve the Lord and try and do His way. And that's what helped me a lot. I love the Lord. After I accept Him as my Savior, I wait for Him, I serve Him daily, and I try to obey His laws.
She says she has always been an avid prayer warrior and has held many roles in her churches over the years as a missionary, Sunday school and Bible class teacher, and even a counselor. And as for one of her greatest accomplishments,
when I couldn't see, I love to read. I read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation The third time, then I stopped and just used to read Satan chapter, but from Genesis to Revelation, I did it 3 times as I was in my early days. I accepted the Lord when I was 18.
At the age of 97, Mother Mabel became a published author of short sermons, and her book is featured on Amazon.
After I started doing Bible class, then I started reading short sermons.
She married Horatio Russell on April 4th, 1939, and they were together for 61 years until he died. From their union, they had 10 children.
I had Eliza Russell, John Russell, Sidney Russell, Leonard Russell, Carol Russell. Then Inez, she's a pendant now with Inez, Louise, Jewel, Paul, and Roynell.
Mother Mabel was a midwife on Walker's Key and a dressmaker who moved on to bigger things at the time on Grand Bahama.
I'm the first servant in Grand Bahama.
She has lived long enough to see 4 generations, some 32 grandchildren, 55 great-grandchildren, and 23 great-great-grandchildren. And at 101, Mother Mabel still loves all things Bahamian.
I like grits. I like boiled fish. I like Johnny cake. I like potato bread. I like cassava bread. I eat any kind of bread. Gingerbread, I'm a baker. I eat jack of all trades. I bake cake, any kind of cake. Potato cake, flour cake, any kind of cake. I bake pound cake. I don't do it now, but that used to be my job. Bacon.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Kimberly. And now it is time to Ask the Doctor.
This is Ask the Doctor. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt. LaWanda asked, I'm hypertensive and diabetic. I take my meds religiously every morning, but for the past few weeks, I've been waking up with severe headaches, almost migraine-like. Should I be concerned? LaWanda, thanks for your question. What you're describing is not uncommon. Severe headaches, even migraines, can be related to many medical conditions, including hypertension and diabetes. Even if you are on medications for a chronic condition, you can still experience signs and symptoms related to it, particularly if you are not regularly monitoring your blood sugar or blood pressure. For persons managing diabetes or hypertension with medication, it is extremely important to keep your regular doctor's appointments and do self-tests as directed. Far too often, many people don't take headaches, even severe headaches and migraines, seriously. Headaches can be a sign that your condition is not well controlled on your current medication, and a new medication or dosage may be necessary. As a rule, any pain that is severe enough to keep you from sleeping or bad enough to wake you up is a reason to go and see your doctor or visit your community clinic for help. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Don't go away, a check on sports is up next.
Be a part of the Down Home experience at Southfest on Saturday, July 7th from 3 p.m. until at St. Vincent de Paul School Grounds in Hunters.
Influenza or the flu can be serious, causing hospitalization and sometimes death. One of the best ways to prevent acquiring the flu is to get your annual flu shot. Flu shots are available free of charge at all community clinics. The following high-risk persons are encouraged to get their annual flu shots: children 6 months and older, pregnant women, adults over the age of 50, persons with asthma, diabetes, hypertension, or a weakened immune system resulting from cancer and/or HIV, persons in nursing homes, and healthcare providers. Additional information regarding the flu shot can be provided by your nearest community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
First up in sports, the Grand Bahama Primary Schools Athletic Association and the Grand Bahama Secondary Schools Athletic Association recently paying a courtesy call to the Assistant Commissioner of Police for Grand Bahama and the Northern Bahamas, Samuel Butler. Kimberly Mullings has the details.
Outstanding athletes and their loved ones filled the conference room of the police headquarters to pay a special courtesy call to the officer in charge of Grand Bahama in the Northern Bahamas District. President of the Principals and Vice Principals Association, Gia Walker, congratulated the student athletes for performing well.
You have practiced long and hard, and your efforts have paid off. I encourage you all to continue to develop your skills in your various sporting disciplines and reach for the sky in everything that you do, whether it's athletic or academic.
District Education Officer for Grand Bahama, Mary Russell, referred to each of the students as golden boys and girls and left them with some sound advice.
When you excel in the sports arena, this is a gateway for a scholarship, not only locally, but also abroad. And my advice to you, athletes, is to stay focused.
ACP Samuel Butler also told the children to focus on their studies, to manage their time, and to take care of their bodies.
The same kind of disciplines you apply to the sport that you're in. We ask that you just study a little harder, push a little further, and we know that you'll become all that you are designed to be. Becoming an athlete and being an athlete causes you to be birth a competitive spirit within you, and I love those who are competitive because you settle for nothing less than the best.
Track and field athletes, as well as Grand Bahama Carifter swimming team members, received awards for their accomplishments, as well as the National High School Girls Soccer Champions, Lucayan International School, and Boys Basketball Champions, Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Toll Sports.
The Bahamas women national basketball team on court Monday at the FIBA Americas Women's Caribbean Cup tournament in Suriname. Team Bahamas defeating St. Vincent and the Grenadines 75-50. Tracy Lewis led Team Bahamas with 14 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Valerie Nesbitt and Pamela Bethel followed with 12 apiece. Team Bahamas now playing 500 ball at 1-1 in Group A. We wish them luck as they continue. That's a look at sports.
By Megan Coakley. When you want to look like a star. Phone 443-7979.
Tired of the endless bank fees and long lines? The Grand Bahama Cooperative Credit Union is the solution to making your money work for you by providing you with free financial counseling, higher interest on savings plans, and lower interest rates on loans. Savings products such as Christmas and vacation club, fixed deposits, and annuity savings allow our members to prepare for today and tomorrow without all of the hassle. Join satisfied Bahamians who left their banking frustrations behind. Open an account with GBCCU 352-4139.
I'm Megan Shepard, a reporter here at the ZNS Northern Service. Did you know that ZNS is right at your fingertips when you download the new ZNS app? Missed something in our newscast? That's okay. Simply pull up the app, swipe, and you'll find all of our news headlines and highlights. So what are you waiting for? Download the new ZNS app today.
Stay informed on your local weather forecast this 2018 hurricane season. Your #1 news station, the ZNS Television Network. We've got you covered.
Well, that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the National Report, budget passed. The new fiscal budget passes in the House of Assembly, but several government MPs voted no. Still sitting out. Postal workers off the job for a second day. And transportation mission. A new union for bus drivers hoping to accomplish a few goals. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts right now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Changes in senior positions in government. Good Tuesday evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. As always, thanks so much for tuning in. We begin tonight with the Cabinet Office confirming that Travis Robinson and Vaughn Miller are no longer parliamentary secretaries in the Ministries of Tourism and Social Services and Urban Development, respectively, as their positions were revoked today. The statement also confirmed that the Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge, Frederick McAlpine's appointment as chairman of the Hotel Corporation of the Bahamas Board was revoked. The Cabinet Office in the statement indicated that under the provisions of the Manual of Cabinet and Ministry Procedure, Part 2, Section 3, Item 21, parliamentary secretaries, like cabinet ministers, are bound as a condition of their continuance in office to support government decisions in public. Now, this action comes just hours after these members of parliament voted against the government's intention to increase value-added tax to 12% starting July 1st during the vote on the 2018-2019 budget in the House of Assembly. Well, the Member of Parliament for Golden Isles, Vaughn Miller, appeared on the ZNS talk show The Conversation with Shanique Miller earlier this afternoon. He was asked why he did not toe the party line in voting with his government on the value-added tax hike bill.
This was unpopular from the onset, and that's throughout the country. And Golden Isles was no exception. Okay, it reflected what the rest of the country felt. If I was a part of the process, I think that my advice would have been, instead of trying to sell it on the back end, sell it on the front end. Go to the people, take it to the people, engage the people, make them a part of the process. We promised transparency, and I think that would have been very transparent. I don't know why it was
kept
as such a secret. And so that's the issue that I had with it. But I never went public with that. I felt that way personally, but I never went public and talked about it. But I'm saying this in hindsight, in retrospect, and I've always felt that way. I always think it's best to let persons know up front.
Mr. Miller was also asked whether there was any tension between him and the Prime Minister on his decision not to support the VAT hike.
I respect the Prime Minister, and I told him that. I love him, I respect him. I thanked him for giving me the opportunity to serve. It was unfortunate that it ended prematurely, I think, and it ended the way it did. I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't excited about it. But I don't think this would have been fair for me to not stand up for my constituents.
Our news team contacted Golden Isles Constituency Association Executive Brian Brown to get the association's feedback on the no vote by MP Vaughn Miller against the VAT increase. Mr. Brown said the association's executives met with Mr. Miller and stand in solidarity with the government's proposal to increase value-added tax to 12%. Noting that government has to implement the hike because, in his words, the country is in a mess, end quote. Mr. Brown added that Mr. Miller was asked to meet with the Minister of Finance, Deputy Prime Minister the Honorable Peter Turnquest, along with the Golden Isles executives to discuss the budget. Mr. Brown claims Vaughn Miller did not follow the executive's instructions as that meeting never happened. Mr. Brown told ZNS News that many voice notes by Golden Isles constituents supporting the government's stance were sent to Mr. Miller and pointed out that the Golden Isles Constituency Association does not support Mr. Miller's no vote in Parliament last night. Mr. Brown concluded that the executives will meet with Mr. Miller in short order. Well, as we've previously mentioned, the 4 Free National Movement members of Parliament who vowed to stand against the government's intention to increase value-added tax to 12% kept their promise last night during the vote on the 2018-2019 budget in the House of Assembly. DeAndre Williamson was at the House of Assembly and has this report.
I made it clear that the persons in the constituency, for the most part, did not want this increase, and many whom I spoke with, they could live with it up to 10%, even though they thought that was high.
Member of Parliament for Golden Isles, Vaughn Miller, and 3 other Free National Movement members of Parliament kept their word and voted against the government's 12% value-added tax increase as the budget was passed in the House of Assembly.
If the PM had come into the House and said that, look, he struck up a compromise at 10%, I would have settled for 10%, although I would have liked to see it in increments from, maybe up to 9%, starting with 9 or 9% and gradually going up every year. And if he had done that, I would have been more than happy to accommodate. But 12 is just too high.
This was a very, it was a tough vote for us. And we just knew that, we support the government's efforts, but we were unable to support an increase in the cost of living in our constituency.
The Member of Parliament for Bain and Grantstown, Travis Robinson, also opposed the Value-Added Tax Amendment Act 2018. He, along with Opposition Leader Philip Davis and 2 other opposition members, voted no to the bill because they believe it will be a burden to middle-class Bahamians and small businesses.
I fear that this VAT increase of 60% will send us into a deep recession. I pointed out to the government, hoping that they would listen, if not to me, to people, that there's no need for tax increases. All is needed is to collect the taxes.
The Value-Added Tax Amendment Act 2018 was passed in the House of Assembly early Tuesday morning. 7 MPs voted no, 24 voted yes, and 7 MPs were absent. Minister of Finance, Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest says while the MPs voting against the bill followed their convictions, the country is moving to get its finances on the right track.
This is a budget that calls for shared sacrifice, and we know that there are a lot of Bahamians who will find that this is a sacrifice that for them is significant. We appreciate that and we understand. However, we also recognize that we have to get our fiscal house in order. We don't have the option of pushing this down the road any further. And so we again ask for the patience and the support of the public as they've given to us all along.
For ZNS Network News, I'm DeAndre Williamson.
Well, after several government members of Parliament voted against the government during the vote on the 2018-2019 budget, several cabinet ministers reflected on their futures after such a bold move. Cleopatra Murphy has their take just before they attended this morning's cabinet meeting.
Unfortunately, that's above my pay grade. That's a decision the Prime Minister will make.
Deputy Prime Minister the Honorable Peter Turnquest says the fate of 4 government MPs now lies in the hands of Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis after they voted against the Value-Added Tax Amendment Bill during Monday night's vote on the much-debated 2018-2019 budget. Golden Isles MP and Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development Vaughn Miller, Bain and Grantstown MP, and Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism Travis Robinson, Pine Ridge MP Frederick McElpine, Chairman of the Hotel Corporation, and Centerville MP Reese Chipman joined 3 opposition members in voting against a VAT increase to 12% while voting to support the budget. Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources Renward Wells also weighed in.
I think the Prime Minister has spoken to what it is he'd like to see take place in regards to the parliamentary secretaries, and I'll leave that there.
Attorney General Senator the Honorable Carl Bethel, speaking in the Senate last week, warned elected officials who hold government posts if they could not support the entire budget, they should resign their positions. From his standpoint, Wells says backbenchers are free to express themselves as they choose, but regarding Miller and Robinson, he says while the Bahamas follows the Westminster system, it is not followed as it should be.
Sometimes it is we do the right thing. If a minister, a parliamentary secretary was to disagree with the position of a government, and it was of such a state to where you decide to vote against the government, then traditionally you don't even take your seat. You simply just walk around to the back bench and sit down. That's the way it happens. But in this regard, I guess they've left their fate up to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister will decide.
Minister of Health Dr. the Honorable Dwayne Sands says the MPs exercise their democratic right but must now live with the consequences of their actions, a position the Deputy Prime Minister agreed with, noting that their views are respected. Despite staunch public opposition to the VAT increase and the failure to get the 4 MPs to fall in line, the Deputy Prime Minister is not taking it as a message.
Each of us come with different viewpoints and come from different places in terms of our understanding of what is being contemplated and what the objectives are. Again, we can only share the information, and how persons process that and make their decisions is really up to them.
7 MPs were absent for the vote, including opposition MP for Central and South Andros Picewell Forbes and 6 other government MPs. During his wrap of the debate Monday, Prime Minister Minnis warned that being absent would amount to a no vote. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Well, reporters asked the Deputy Prime Minister, who's also the Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, about the criticism that the budget lacks anything for Grand Bahama. Minister Turnquest says that is not the case, as the Prime Minister highlighted several initiatives for the island. He added that government also anticipates further growth for Grand Bahama in the coming months.
People are looking for the Grand Lacayan, and until the Grand Lacayan is opened, there really will not be celebration in the street. And we understand that, and that's why we're working so hard on that. But there are a number of small wins that are happening in Grand Bahama with the digital space, with the Eco Oil company that's opened the other day, with the restart of the Pharmachem expansion. There are a number of things that are happening that are adding 20, 30, 40, 50 jobs, and they add up. And so in another year, I think, or less, we're going to see Grand Bahama start to make that turn that we're all hoping for and looking forward to.
Free National Movement Chairman Carl Culmer said in a statement that the passing of the 2018-2019 budget in the House of Assembly last night put our country on the path to financial stability and economic success. He said these bold actions are being taken to correct the blatant and corrupt mismanagement that took place under the previous Progressive Liberal Party administration. The FNM chairman approved the government's intention to cut taxes by eliminating value-added tax on all breadbasket items and medicine, reduce customs duties on clothing and shoes, and also monthly electric bills for over 60,000 households. Mr. Culmer also pointed out that the new budget enables the government to move forward with its plan to transform the inner cities by providing funding for the over-the-hill rejuvenation plan here in New Providence by creating economic empowerment zones in targeted neighborhoods so every Bahamian will have the opportunity to succeed. The FNM government, he says, will also increase the self-starter program's funding from $50,000 to over $800,000. Well, several months ago, police were called in to investigate the circumstances surrounding a file that went missing in the multi-billion-dollar Oban refinery project that's set for Grand Bahama. Our news team asked Press Secretary Anthony Newbold about the status of the police investigations during his press conference at the Office of the Prime Minister this afternoon.
Police hasn't made any information available to us. Again, a cabinet subcommittee appointed to monitor what's going on with them. They have something to report, they will tell us.
Well, Mr. Newbold also noted that Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis is expected to travel extensively over the next few days. His first order of business is to attend a business conference in Freeport, then on to Florida and Montego Bay, Jamaica. Here's Press Secretary Anthony Newbold.
Prime Minister will be traveling tomorrow. He's going to travel first thing tomorrow morning. He's going to go into Grand Bahama to open that blockchain cryptocurrency conference. And you know that's part of the big effort to make Grand Bahama the tech hub. Efforts so far have certainly been bearing fruit. Prime Minister will take a small delegation to Jamaica for the 39th regular meeting of CARICOM, July 4th through the 6th, in Montego Bay. I can tell you that disaster management and recovery, security issues, and the Marijuana Commission that was appointed and established by the July 214 meeting in Antigua and Barbuda.
Still ahead, postal workers off the job for a second day. And a new bus drivers union wants to make some changes to the industry. We're just getting started here in the National Report. Stay tuned to your only live national news leader. We've got news on the next side of the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by the new Shell and Leaded, designed for extra miles.
This is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. This is Commonwealth Bank. And no matter how, no matter where, no matter what, Commonwealth Bank is here for you. Commonwealth Bank, everything we do it for you.
Here comes the lucky guy who won a date with Fanshawn to his prom.
KFC got the big deal meal, freshly handmade every day for real.
Made fresh every day?
What I said, what you take? KFC got the big deal meal. Hey, it's a real big deal. KFC got the big deal meal. Hey, it's a real
Now that's a big deal.
Hey, it's a real big deal. Hey, it's a real big deal.
There's nothing as powerful as knowing where you belong. No more waiting. It's time to come home. Come home to friendly smiles. Come home to convenience. Come home to more interest on savings and lower fees. Come home to our bank and your bank. Come home to Bank of the Bahamas, your bank of solutions.
Right over here, if you found the Bohemian, raise your signs in the air. The man in the Portugal and round Bahamas. The man in the boat and the crowd is sipping signs. 100% Bohemian own, keep them foreign guys.
Available at Jimmy's Liquor Store or your favorite restaurant or liquor stores throughout the Bahamas.
We start with a yes, but when life takes unexpected turns, you can still say yes to more. The Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard credit card gives you points with every purchase that you can use to travel anywhere. Fly on any airline, anywhere, and anytime, with no blackout dates. Plus, with just 20,000 Scotia points, you can say yes to destinations. With Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard credit card, it's easier to say yes to everything. Apply today.
This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Officials of a Shore Wind Gaming Company sent an official communication to the gaming board today of the company's intention to close 11 locations nationwide by the end of June. The statement confirmed that it is anticipated that these closures will result in the termination of approximately 50 employees, as well as the termination of property leases which facilitate these locations. Ashore Wind officials acknowledge that the domestic gaming industry is a competitive market with high operating costs, and in some instances, Ashore Wind officials say the locations identified were already underperforming. The gaming company's statement also noted that with the proposed tax increases in the 2018-2019 budget, a sobering review of their operational costs and structure led the company to take this preemptive action. Ashore Wind has already engaged its external auditors simultaneously to provide an impact analysis of the proposed tax increase on its business. And once those assessments have been completed, the results will dictate any further action. Now to news from the crime beat. Police are investigating a drowning here in the capital. Police say a child was reportedly found unresponsive on Arawak Key yesterday. We can tell you that the child was at the beach with a family member and others, but was discovered missing by the family as they prepared to leave the beach. The child was later found face down in the water. Police say the baby was taken to hospital and later died. Also making national news tonight, postal workers sitting out again today due to ongoing health and safety concerns at the East Hill Street Post Office. Fern Carey has been following the story.
Workers at the East Hill Street Post Office sitting out again Tuesday as they wait for their ongoing concerns to be addressed. The issues include a non-functioning air conditioning system and mold in the aging building, which has resulted in some 7 postal workers falling ill. President of the Bahamas Public Service Union, Kimsey Ferguson, and shop steward Curtis Hanner gave this update.
We're not advising any of the workers to go in that building until such time as they would bring somebody to do the mold remediation and ensure that the air quality is sufficient and adequate enough for persons to occupy. We're going to be right here until our shift is ended. We're at work. We want to work. But the working environment is not conducive.
General Post Office here is not the only challenge we have. We have the Cable Beach Post Office that's been closed for more than a month. South Beach Post Office been closing at 1 o'clock every day for the last 2 years.
The BPSU president said the Ministry of Works is in the process of fixing the generator in the building.
We would have called the permanent secretary this morning, Mrs. Ambrissa at Transport, who would have advised us that Caterpillar is coming to maintain and service the generator, and she said today that the purchase order is being prepared to get the breaker panel sorted out.
Ferguson expressed concern that mail containers and other garbage piled to the rear of the post office are also a fire hazard.
There's an exit behind the mail containers, which is a fire exit, and so that's obstructed. And so if some emergency were to take place here at the post office, you would find persons would probably trample one another trying to get out. The Bahamian people are paying for these to be here. It was agreed that they would be stored in the various containers and they would be transported back to the United States. And so we're very concerned that the things that were agreed to has not yet even been done.
Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
Well, the newly formed Bahamas Unified Bus Drivers Union plans to move the sector forward to create a unified busing system. The union's formation is also historic, marking the first time for the sector, involving more than 200 drivers. President Frederick Farrington says the goal is to improve and modernize the experience for passengers and drivers. Clearly marked bus stops and cashless operations are among the issues to be discussed when the union meets with the road traffic controller next week.
Someone would have come in the bus, you would have scanned a card. It's a 3-card system whereby it'll be a yellow card for the $1.25, you'll have like a green card for the person that pays $1, and you'll have like a pink card for the elderlies. And as we scan them, they'll log inside the system. At the end of each day, the driver will know how much money he will then make. It'll also make it easier for deductions from national insurance and all those various deductions.
Well, the government has been working toward a unified bus system for more than 20 years. Farrington maintains that the biggest issue for the union is a negative perception of bus drivers, one which they hope through various initiatives to fix. One answer he believes is the creation of a hotline that enables users to lodge complaints and have them addressed immediately.
We're having seminars whereby drivers from various routes, let's say you're on Route 1, you're going to be the first one to come into those seminars. So in terms of, we're unifying ourselves first. We're looking at that customer-friendly driver. So, like I say, we are a new union. We have a lot of these positive measures in our books, and we want to start within ourselves to better the system.
The Bahamas National Trust is partnering with the Bahamas Telecommunications Company to host its first summer vacation this weekend. Organizers say it's designed to be the spin-off of the popular Jollification that's held in November. Patrons will be able to party for a purpose this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. as the proceeds will be used by the National Trust to operate the country's national parks system. The National Trust's Director of Development, Dominique Martin, explains.
The BNT is a nonprofit organization, so donations are our lifeblood, and when people support events like Summerfication, they give funding to support that work. There are 32 national parks that we manage, 2.2 million acres of our country. That's a vast system that takes a lot of funding. So when we have events like Summerfication and we partner with great corporate citizens like BTC, we're really trying to raise money for that work.
BTC's events and sponsorship manager, Latoisa Major, told us that Summerfication will truly be a family affair.
I'm talking about the best in Bahamian food. So, of course, it's crab season, so you can get all your crab and dough. You could experience conch and coon. We have 700 that'll be actually on the ground. We have sippies that'll be here. So we have lots of entertainment. We have pop-up concerts that will be all around. So you never know. And, of course, we're going to have a suite of our handsets that'll be out on display. We have some specials that'll be going on. We want to encourage you to come on down, check out those specials. Of course, we're going to have discounted data cards as well. We want persons to stay connected during the event and actually share, their experience of persons who may not be able to make it. But we encourage you guys that you want to be out here on Saturday because this will be the place to be.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis indicated in his budget contribution in the House of Assembly Monday that his government has allocated more than $5 million for its support program for small and medium-sized businesses, including the establishment of the Small Business Development Center. The Prime Minister said this center will provide advisory and technical support to Bahamians when opening a business or expanding operations, and also steer entrepreneurs to funding opportunities, as well as assist businesses in dealing with the regulatory and tax registration requirements for new businesses. In other business news, the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants is preparing to host this year's Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Caribbean's 36th Annual Caribbean Conference at the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort's Crown Ballroom. Over 400 delegates from the Caribbean, United Kingdom, United States, and Canada have registered for this conference. Organizers say this year promises to have an exciting and informative lineup of mostly Bahamian and Caribbean speakers. Under the theme Regional and Global Opportunities Preparing for Success, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Peter Turnquest, will open the conference and make way for the keynote speaker, the Right Honorable David Lammy, Member of Parliament in the House of Commons within the British Parliament. The 36th ICAC conference is set for June 21st through to the 23rd. And in international news, Audi has appointed its top sales executive to lead the company temporarily after the CEO was arrested. The luxury German automaker announced Tuesday that Abraham Schott will take the reins after CEO Rupert Stadler was arrested as part of an investigation into emissions cheating. Audi said Stadler asked to be released from his position on the management boards of Audi and its parent company, Volkswagen. Munich prosecutors said Monday that Stadler, who has worked for Volkswagen since 1990, had been detained because of the concerns he could influence witnesses in an ongoing fraud investigation. He is the highest-ranking Volkswagen executive to be arrested in connection to a costly diesel emission scandal that burst into public view back in 2015. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly.
Know how you can save more money, save more time, earn more interest, and have more for the future? The solution is an account from Fidelity Bank. With our ASUS Savings, fixed deposits, and preferred client program, you can get free financial advice from our team of experts, competitive interest rates, and free online banking for simple and safe banking anytime, anywhere. Open a fixed deposit or savings account with Fidelity by visiting a branch today. Get into the rhythm of saving with Fidelity. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Well, we're the Nutty Bavarian Bahamas. We specialize in glazed nuts, being cashews, almonds, pecans, and peanuts. Well, we're offering a 3-tier savings deal. It's 5% for the silver, 15% for the gold, and 25% for platinum members. You would call us at the number 698-2126, let us know what tier you're on, and then we'll work from there. So the discount will be applied to whatever you purchase from us. Normally the delivery time is within a day. You call your order in and then it's delivered the next day. But we wanted to align ourselves with a company that is as innovative as Alive. You know, they're a young upstart company, and we just felt that we would want to be on board with a company that's doing big things in the Bahamas.
Free, reliable, anytime, anywhere, and instant. That's the benefits of using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Pay bills, check account balances, transfer funds, and more. Enjoy the freedom of banking on your own terms. Why wait in line? Save time. Do your banking using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean to find out more.
Take a dash of location, 2 scoops of service, 3 helpings of savings, mix well and serve. That's super value in quality supermarkets. Hunt's barbecue sauces, 18-ounce size, 2 for $3. Center cut pork chops, $2.69 per pound. Vitamalt tonic, case price, $23.76. 12-ounce size, 99 cents. Shoppers Value foam plates, 30 count, $1.39. Limes, 5 for $1. Carolina Pride ham, 10-ounce size, $2.99. Every week is special at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
If you own a portfolio of securities within a brokerage account, like stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, you can access a hassle-free loan, known as a margin loan, based on the value of that portfolio. Your investment portfolio is essentially used as collateral for a cash loan. And the benefits are numerous. Simple and straightforward application, quick turnaround, a more competitive interest rate, no requirement for monthly payments. Contact us for more information on margin loans.
Mario thought he could have his cake and eat it too. He almost found out the hard way that if you don't insure your home for the full replacement value, when it comes time to make a claim, you won't get the full payout. It's called the condition of average. If your $200,000 home is destroyed by a hurricane, but you only insured it for $100,000, half the value, you'll only get half of that $100,000 payout. Actually, less than that, because there's also a deductible which will be deducted from your payout. Check your home insurance policy for the condition of average clause and ask your insurance agent or broker how condition of average would affect you. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
Well, it's officially prom season, and high school seniors want to stand out from their peers on that special night. But how are local formal wear shops faring with online competition? Crystal Darling found out.
Prom season is in full gear, and residents know it's all about the fashion. Formal wear shops and designers in New Providence have been preparing for this period all year. Classic formal wear owner Theo Stubbs explained how his company prepares students for their prom.
We attend a lot of shows, normally at the beginning of the year, where a lot of manufacturers show their spring collections. So like around February and March, normally we place our orders in time for when prom is.
Online competition is considered a challenge for many local clothing stores and boutiques, but Stubbs told us what made him feel confident that consumers will conduct business with him in the midst of this growing trend.
We are very aware of what's going on in regards to persons wanting to go online and to order things, and so with that in mind, we look for manufacturers that provide the same kind of products so persons can know that they can come into the store and actually see a product rather than taking a chance and buying something online that may necessarily not fit them, may not be the material that they want and whatnot. And so by finding those type of manufacturers and allowing persons to be able to put their hand on an actual product, it gives us an advantage to some extent, because a lot of persons still aren't very comfortable with ordering online.
Formal wear boutiques are extraordinarily busy this season, putting together the ensembles to make prom goers look fabulous. I'm Crystal Darling, ZNS Network News.
Thanks so much, Crystal. Well, Family Island weather and sports up next. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report.
Free, reliable, anytime, anywhere, and instant. That's the benefits of using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Pay bills, check account balances, transfer funds, and more. Enjoy the freedom of banking on your own terms. Why wait in line? Save time. Do your banking using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean to find out more.
Move forward, Bahamas, and build high into the sky. Move upward and colorize those new walls. Move onward and build a garden to last a lifetime. Move together and settle into that new home. There's a lot of places you can do it for yourself, but there's one place to do it right. Builders Mall. We know exactly what motto you live by, and even the pros know building is just a part of what we do. So move forward, Bahamas. And remember, you can find it all at Builders Mall.
The performance speaks for itself. Pennzoil Synthetics, made from natural gas. Make the switch.
It's time now for a check on the weather in your part of the country, and Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us live in studio with the latest temperatures. Good evening, Basil.
Hi, Altoise. Right now, we're going to take a look at temperatures around the Family Islands, and they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 84 in Freeport, 84 also in Greentown, Key Marsh Harbor at 86 degrees. In the Berry Islands, 82. Bimini at 82 as well. Here in the capital, 84. Harper Island, Eleuthera, 81. Roxanne, Eleuthera, 82 degrees. 82 also in Otterstown, Cat Island. Staniel Key, 81. Kemps Bay, St. Andrews at 81. Fresh Creek and Central Andrews at 82 degrees. San Salvador, Room Key, 82 degrees. Georgetown, Exuma at 83. 82s in Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Maguana, Acklands, Ragged Island, Matthewtown, Inago, 83 degrees. 82 degrees in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Ball, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. For all areas, you can expect light and variable winds, very flat seas of 1 to 3 feet over the ocean. Tide-wise, going to be high at 55 minutes past midnight. And then tomorrow, once again, for all areas, light and variable winds with flat seas continuing. Low tide, 7:25 in the morning. The high tide will occur at 1:39 in the afternoon. And then taking you into Thursday for the northwestern islands, winds will swing out of the south to southwest at 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights picking up a bit. 2 to 4 feet high tide, 8:22 in the morning. And that low tide will take place around 2:41 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands, light and variable winds with flat seas again, and no cautions are out there for you boaters. It's time now for your travel forecast, and your travel forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Did you see Uncle Lou when he fall in the well? I said he fell so deep that he went straight to hell. The devil and his angels stopped ringing the bell. My mama told me 3 years ago I mustn't marry no lazy gal. Say no lazy gal, no lazy gal.
And that's going to do it for your travel forecast brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is coming up in about 20 minutes.
Welcome to Tips for Wellness. I'm Dr. Indira Grimes. When you're living with HIV or human immunodeficiency virus, it's more important than ever to protect your immune system to maintain overall health. By keeping your body as healthy and better equipped to fight off viruses and other types of infections, People living with HIV, the virus that can cause AIDS, should adopt the following healthy habits in their daily lives. Practice safe sex. This is most important. Understand how the virus is transmitted to reduce the risk of infecting others. Use condoms not only to avoid the spread of HIV, but also to protect both you and your partner against other sexually transmitted diseases or STDs and other types of infections. Get tested for other STDs. STDs can worsen HIV and make the disease progress more rapidly. And HIV can make STDs more difficult to treat, so you'll want to address an STD as soon as possible. Prevent infections and illnesses. Since HIV makes your immune system less effective, you become more susceptible to every virus, bacteria, and germ you're exposed to. Wash your hands frequently and stay away from sick people to stay as healthy as possible. Also, stay up to date on all of your vaccinations to reduce your risk of preventable illnesses. Follow your doctor's orders about your prescriptions. It's crucial to take your HIV medication exactly as prescribed by your doctor. Skipping even one day of medication can give the virus an opportunity to become resistant to the drugs, making them ineffective against the virus. Don't abuse drugs or alcohol. Quit smoking. Exercise mind and body. Physical and mental exercise can keep your mind and body strong. This has been Tips for Wellness. I'm Dr. Indira Grimes. Live your best life by living well.
So we thought that the NBA Finals were done. We know that Golden State has been named champions. And then we came here to D.W. Davis's gymnasium and found out that the action is even hotter here. BTC's connection is at the Filipino Bahamian Association's Family Fun Day.
Best? Why don't we just use BTC and Best? Put them together, okay? But yeah, it's a great event. Again, we are here wherever people want to connect. You're going to find BTC.
BTC, when it comes to the community, we're here. And this is now the Filipinos community, which is a part of BTC's diaspora market. BTC is the full sponsorship of their event. The Independence is coming up on the 23rd, where we are the major and only sponsor. So we're looking forward to the partnerships that we've done through the diaspora market for BTC.
We'd like to thank BTC for giving us the opportunity to be partnering with them in this our activity, especially this upcoming Philippine Independence Celebration. This is the 120th Philippine Independence Celebration.
The only thing I could say is, BTC, thank you! Yay!
The only thing left to say is, I'm Corbell Pyfrom, and we'll see you next BTC Connection.
It's BTC every day. Every day, every day, every day. Every day is a new
Little Generals on East Street South is well known for the best quality and lowest prices on all your grocery and houseware needs. Little Generals has a large selection of meats, produce, dairy items, water and juices, all your favorite snacks, housewares, vegan products, gourmet items, and health supplements. Anything you can think of, it's all sold right here at Little Generals. Little Generals also provides the best customer service, making you want to come back again and again. So visit Little Generals today on East Street South. Call 325-5798.
Joy has something new in store for you. For even longer-lasting suds, a more powerful clean, and a delightful new scent, try Joy Orange. Try it now, and you could win a trip for two to Vegas, a trip for two to Orlando, or $1,000 cash. Just buy two 30-ounce bottles of Joy Orange and take your receipt to purchase on Robinson Road. Try Joy Orange and enter to win today. Promotion ends June 22nd.
Life happens, and when it does, FG Insurance Agents and Brokers is here. We help you protect the assets you've worked hard to attain. We offer home, auto, marine, commercial, and liability insurance. Don't hesitate to protect what matters with FG Insurance Agents and Brokers. Visit us and speak to your agent today, or call us at 396-1490 in Nassau or 688-1500 in Freeport.
Every day you wake up with the world in the palm of your hand. Making connections and creating memories and sharing them with the people you care about. Every day the world is at your fingertips, and you can experience every blockbuster movie in stunning HD and top 100 Billboard music hit with the touch of a button. Every day your family and friends are important to you, and staying in touch no matter where you are in the Bahamas or the world is your #1 priority. And that's why every day for over 100 years, BTC has been there to ensure that every Bahamian has the best connection to the world. We cover every island, rock and key, regardless of the cost. This is BTC Country.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. Team Bahamas still on a high following their win over St. Vincent and the Grenadines yesterday at the FIBA Women's Caribbean Cup in Suriname. After the game, head coach Wade Watson addressed the media.
We didn't play our brand of basketball for the most part, but I think we played a little bit better than we played in game one. We were able to force some turnovers. As a result of that, we were able to score 22 points on turnovers. Field goal percentage wasn't very good at all, but luckily we had comfortable lead, so therefore it didn't really matter at this particular point. We were able to win the rebounding war. So as a result of that, we rebounded the game. We had 55 rebounds compared to the 47 rebounds.
Coach Watson also called yesterday's victory a complete team effort.
I played a 12-man rotation tonight, and I wanted everybody to get an opportunity to feel the court and feel the competition. I could have invariably just played 7, maybe 8 plays, 8 of the top players on this particular team, and done a better job from an offensive perspective. But I wanted everybody to get in, and then in the fourth quarter, I went with a smaller team, 4 guards and 1 big, and I applied some pressure. And again, the strategy was to increase the points when it comes to for and against. We wanted to make certain that we were in a comfortable position.
Team Bahamas will be back in competition tomorrow in the crossover semifinals, and they will take on the top team from Group B, that is, the Dominican Republic.
I believe that we have the ability to compete with them. Fatigue may be a factor, but I'm hoping that we can control the game for the most part, and we can get the appropriate stops and force Dominican Republic to do things that they're not customarily used to doing from a team game perspective.
Shalonda Neely is one of the veterans on the team representing the country for the third time, but come tomorrow, she won't be taking anything for granted.
I'm more experienced in my position, but at the same time, I can't allow pressure to cause me to not function and do what the team need me to do. So my strategy is to just go out there, play hard, do whatever coach need me to do.
From the pro basketball ranks, Tavaria Miller and Los Mochis find themselves down 0-2 in the Mexican League quarterfinals after losing to Mazatlan last night, 96-84. Miller did his best, dropping in 29 points and 15 rebounds. Game 3 is tomorrow, and it's win or go home. The Bahamas Aquatics Federation Swim Nationals closing out tonight at the Betty Kelly Canning National Aquatic Center. Mako Aquatics, the leaders heading in, followed by Alpha Aquatics and the Grand Bahama Tritons. Lyford Key is one of the smaller clubs taking part, but they are still trying to make their mark.
Our team has really came together lately. Toward the end of the year, our training's been going great, and I think they're really displaying what they did all year. It is a small club. We have 19 swimmers qualified, plus 6 swimmers that are just doing relays. It has been tough trying to get some international competitions under our belt, but last year we had a successful in one person making that team on the Carifta team, and we look forward to continuing to build our team and to see them. I mean, even next year I hope to double that number and see even more swimmers on the national team.
Local water polo players recently traveling abroad as they continue their path towards the Junior Olympic Championships July 21st to the 24th in San Jose, California. Alex Turnquest, Gabrielle Sastre, Nicholas Wallace-Whitfield, Gabrielle Ensenor, Thomas Illing, Damian Gomez, and Thor Sasso joined up with the Houston Storm for a tournament in Texas where they finished 4th out of 10 teams, losing out in the bronze medal match. Now, before traveling to the Junior Olympic Tournament, the Bahamas will attend 2 more tournaments, the Sunshine State Games in Florida, June 22nd through the 24th, and the CC Can Championships, June 27th through July 3rd in El Salvador. A record 10 teams participating in the Collect Summer Bowling League. The top male performer from last night was Alfred Burrows of the Strike Force. He had a 6-12 3-game set. Raymond Adderley of the Rum Runners down the pins for the second high set of 6-09. Bale Cassell of the E&U Water Coolers had a 2-34 high game. He was followed by Derek Burrows of the Closers with a 2-25 game. The ladies led by Zania Johnson of the Brooklyn Strikers, a 2-11 game, an outstanding 5-91 set. Janice Hoyt of the Advocates also a 2-11 game while toppling the pins for a 5-77 set. After 2 weeks of competition, the Rum Runners lead the way with 6,080 pins. In Your Guts is second with 6,048 pins. The Brooklyn Strikers sits third, 6,021 pins. The Advocates rounding out the top 4 with 5,951 pins. The first place team, they will win $1,200. The second place team, $600. The third place team taking home $400. And that will do it for sports. Stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight comes back after the break.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
We'll be with you through new beginnings and sunset endings, through toil and many tears, through the joys and many fears. For all of life's ever-changing moments, trust J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers for all of your insurance needs. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
Clean clothes for the family, uniforms for the baby, suit for mommy and daddy. We wash this and press this and clean this. If you wanna look fly and you wanna look clean, if you wanna look fresh, better than all the rest. Bring on your church clothes and all your work clothes. Bring on your children clothes. Super wash.
Together, we laugh more, we discover more,
We dream more. Together, we connect more. We cheer more. Grab life by the bundle and fuel your passion for your favorite things. Enhance your entertainment experience with Flow Evo, internet and home phone in one simple package. The hotter the bundle, the more you get. Grab life by the bundle with BTC.
What's a smart way to refresh your home this season? Get inspired by Carpet and Cabinet World. See how easy it is to transform your living room and kitchen with our wide variety of flooring and cabinet options. We offer top quality in the latest styles in ceramic, porcelain, and wood. Did you know we're also fully stocked with state-of-the-art forward horizontal blinds? Stop by Cabinet World to explore the exciting possibilities with our customized cabinetry to suit your budget, style, and taste. Carpet and Cabinet World. We make it happen. Get your free quote today.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
James Aubrey. Now that Bahamas residents can fly or cruise free to the family islands, what are your summer vacation plans?
I'm going to Abaco.
And there is no better time than now with the 2 Fly or Cruise Free promotion, where all residents of the Bahamas can fly or cruise free to the family islands from Nassau. Refresh, reconnect, and unwind in the family islands. For details, go to bahamasresidents.com and fly or cruise free to the family islands today.
When a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, it's extremely important to be prepared and know just what to do. Stay informed about the storm's path by listening to the radio or television for hurricane progress reports. Check emergency food and household supplies. Be sure you have extra batteries for your flashlights and radios. Bring in outdoor things like lawn furniture and garden tools. Anchor objects that cannot be brought inside. Secure buildings by closing and boarding up windows. Remove outside antennas and satellite dishes. Turn refrigerators and freezers to the coldest settings. Open only when absolutely necessary and close quickly. Purchase ice and store it in an ice chest. Keep drinking water in clean jugs and bottles. Clean your bathtub with bleach and fill it with water for washing and flushing, not for drinking, making sure to keep the bathroom door closed so small children cannot access the filled tub. Do not go out to videotape or take photos of the storm. Stay inside and take those pictures from where it's safe and dry. There's no harm in being overly cautious where a hurricane is concerned. It is truly better to be safe than sorry. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
Now you can watch the ZNS network of channels absolutely free. That's right, ZNS is now broadcasting 3 separate channels, free to air on Channel 13. One channel has the regular ZNS TV HD programming. One is the Parliamentary channel, and one is the 24/7 television community page. These channels may be accessed simply by attaching either a rabbit ears antenna or an indoor amplified antenna to the RF input connector on the back of your digital television or flat screen TV. Once the antenna is connected, select TV mode and choose Auto Scan, and your TV will automatically pick up Channel 13 at no charge. Once you're on Channel 13, just use the channel selector to go to each of the 3 ZNS free channels. Antennas are available on many sites online. Free TV, ZNS brings it back to you. Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, the tropics remain quiet, and we anticipate that it will, at least over the next 5 days, as there are no activities developing out there. But we do have this weak high pressure system across the Bahamas that's producing some very light winds, and then that old frontal trough that was across the northwest Bahamas, you can hardly see it in the satellite picture there. It's gradually dissipating, and we anticipate by tomorrow afternoon that will completely waste away. But until then, you can expect 1 or 2 pop-up showers to continue to take place. Tonight, partly cloudy conditions, showers and isolated thunderstorms developing late and during the early morning hours, with the low temperature getting down to 75 degrees. And tomorrow, we're looking at partly sunny and hot. Again, another round of showers and thunderstorms, very possible, with your high temperature getting up to 86 degrees. And the extended weather forecast over the next 7 days, a couple of showers into Thursday, drying out into the weekend. So we look for an abundance of sunshine heading through the weekend and into the early part of next week. And those temperatures still kind of keeping them below that 90-degree mark, even though official start of summer will, in fact, be day after tomorrow.
Yes, on Thursday. We still got to keep umbrellas.
You would need to keep it handy, if only to keep the incoming radiation off your head, because it's very hot over the last several days.
It really has been. Thank you so much, Basil. Well, that does it for the National Report. On behalf of the entire news and production team, thanks so much for tuning in and tuning in. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.